Hello, I'm Judge Jennifer Brunner, and we're here today with our series called Achieving Justice. I'm a judge of the 10th District Court of Appeals and currently running for the Ohio Supreme Court. And I am so pleased to have with me today Anne Flottman. She is a magistrate, and she is a magistrate in the Warren County Domestic Relations Court, running for a judicial spot on the Hamilton County Common Pleas Court Domestic Relations Division. And welcome, and I'm so happy to have you today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for the Domestic Relations Court in the Cincinnati area in Hamilton County?
Yes, thank you, Judge Brunner. I'm so honored to be with you. As I said when we were chatting before, this is the first time I've met someone who is a recipient of a Profile and Courage Award. So I loved reading about that. So Anne Flottman, I'm running for Domestic Relations Court Judge, as you said. I've practiced in this area for more than 20 years. In 2012, I became a certified specialist in domestic relations. I don't hold that anymore because I'm a magistrate now, but I had a very busy private practice representing hundreds of parents. I also served as a guardian ad litem. And as you know, that is when the court appoints you to find out a lot about the family, the children, their schooling, etc., and make a report back to the court. Before I became a lawyer, I was a teacher. I'm a wife, sister, mother, grandmother, aunt, and friend, so families are of utmost importance to me. I'm running for the bench in Hamilton County because there is a culture in our county and in that court of maybe not serving all of the citizens or all of the residents of our county. The court really lacks diversity. It really lacks transparency. There's just a lot of ways that the tax-paying residents of Hamilton County could be better served by their family court. So that's why I'm running.
Well, that's fantastic. When I think people don't really realize how much power a domestic relations judge has over their lives, because hopefully they don't end up there, but sometimes they do. And, there's not even jury trials in that court, are there?
No, and you're so right, Judge. That is the one thing that I don't think people understand. First, there's nothing more important to anybody than their family. So the cases that I tried as an attorney and that I now decide as a magistrate are about people's family. Where are the kids going to be? Who's getting the house? How are we going to handle the finances? How are we dividing the property? Each and every one of these decisions, seemingly big, seemingly small, has a major impact on the parents, on the children. The other thing about family court that I hope people keep in mind is you don't have to be in a divorce yourself to be affected by a decision of a family court, a domestic relations court. If you are a neighbor, if you are a coworker, if you are another family member of someone going through that, the anxiety and the trauma and the anger and all of those other negative emotions affect all of those other people, especially teachers. They have to deal with children as children are going through everything else children are going through, and now they're going through the breakup and restructuring of their family. So they're huge and important decisions. And as you said, most people don't understand how much discretion or how much authority we have. So just briefly, there's not a jury. One person is going to make all the decisions about all these big decisions about the family. And the way we make our decisions is based on a list of factors that we are to consider. It's not like 3 elements of the law that you have to meet. Like, for example, if you blow a 2.1, you're going to get an OVI. That's not a gray area of anything to consider. It is or it isn't. In family law, for example, for custody, there are 10 different things I'm supposed to consider, such as the adjustment of the child to the home, to the school, to the community, the mental and physical health of people, whether anybody's planning to relocate out of state, whether there's been any violence, etc. But nowhere does the legislature tell us that one factor is more important than the other. All that is required of us in making a decision is that we say, yes, I considered those factors. Here's what I decided. Because of that, because I have all this discretion, it makes it really difficult for someone to get you on the appellate court or on the Supreme Court to overturn what I have done. So the importance of having an experienced, empathic person with a lot of history in domestic relations on the bench cannot be overstated, in my view. But again, this is my passion. This is the thing that's most important to me. So
as a magistrate, you actually try cases as well, don't you?
yes, we hear Warren County. I've had the blessing to work for two wonderful judges, Judge Tim Oliver and Judge Jeffrey Kirby, and they give the three magistrates the same workload that they themselves have. They take more of the dissolutions, the times when people have agreed on everything outside of court and they're just presenting you their agreements. They take the bulk of those, but we hear, each magistrate hears 10% of all the new divorces, and then we hear 33 1/3% of all the post-decree motions. So that's one of the sad things about domestic relations court is after the divorce, very often people have to come back because things have changed with their finances or with their children. One of the things that I would hope to do as a judge is help my magistrates who I'd be working with understand how important it is to get that initial decision and initial agreements done in a way that sort of forestalls future litigation so that the family can learn to live how they've been restructured and not have to keep coming back to us for help solving their problems.
And I can definitely see that, because that's a lot of stress, and that can get passed on to the kids.
Yeah.
It can create difficulties between parents when they're exchanging the children.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And I think people don't even realize that a domestic relations judge has the ability to award attorney's fees and to say to one side, you're paying her attorney's fees or you're paying his attorney's fees. And if you don't, I can put you in jail.
Yes, we can do that. And it does happen. Sometimes the focus of one parent, especially if that parent feels that he or she somehow got shorted in the initial divorce, if they feel that they were wronged in some way, and they keep coming back and they keep bringing stuff up and they keep wanting to have a fight, it's torturous. And sometimes the only way that we can put an end to that is by awarding attorney's fees and making them actually pay for that. Of course, that doesn't do anything to help the children who have been dragged through all of this. But it is one method that we have. And yeah, we can sentence them to jail for not paying. And I always try to explain to people, this is not what I would want to do, especially if I'm sentencing them, for example, for not paying their child support. Does not make sense to put somebody in jail if they can't pay their support. I mean, it's a Dickensian debtor's prison. But I try to explain to people that I don't have a lot of arrows to fire in my quiver. I don't have a lot of methods to get you to comply with the court order. This is one of the few things that I can do. So I hope that they then comply so I don't have to put them in jail, because unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you feel about it, Warren County is a very well-run county and we have room in the jail. So if I need somebody to go, they're not going to get a furloughed or get a weekend pass or whatever. They're going to actually go and serve.
And hopefully the specter of that is enough to convince them to get with the program.
Yes.
Your background is so interesting to me, because you didn't go to law school until after you had your three boys and they were in middle school and high school. And so maybe talk about that, because I think for a family judge, what a perfect background that you've just like lived life.
Thank you. Yes, I was an English major in college, and I put myself through school waiting tables and bartending and doing whatever else I could to make rent and tuition. And after I graduated, I took the LSAT. I did great on it, and I was planning to go, but then I met my husband. And so we got married in 1.5 years, and I continued teaching. I had talked to him about law school. He thought that was a great idea, but then I got an opportunity to teach in the Virgin Islands. So off we went, and our first child was born there. When we came back, we had 2 more. I got my master's at Xavier, and they asked me to teach English with them, and I loved that. There is nothing more fun than teaching college students. They are hilarious and interesting and energetic. It was just great. And then as I was approaching my 40th birthday, I thought, whatever happened to that law school dream? So we talked about it, and I had to retake the LSAT. I don't know why they didn't count my 20-year-old score. And I just decided to go for it. One of my older sisters, I have 5 older sisters. One of them is a lawyer, and she had been a paralegal and then gone back to law school later. Another is a doctor. She'd been a nurse, and then she went back to medical school later. So there was kind of a pattern of not deciding that you were ever too old to do anything that you wanted to try. So I did. My kids were great, super cooperative. Our youngest son is an attorney now. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, and it's not like you haven't had a very robust career since you got your law degree, because you became certified in family relations. Maybe you can explain to people who aren't familiar with that. That makes you almost basically an expert, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Well, I did my career took off great, even for somebody who was joining the legal field a little bit later than other people. I think because if you were going to have to go tell a perfect stranger the problems that were causing you to need a divorce, you'd probably rather talk to somebody 44 than somebody 25. Or you'd probably rather talk to somebody who, at that point, I'd been married 21 years when I graduated, who had children, because I do understand the challenges of people. So, and I also had a fantastic mentor, actually 3 of them, Randy Block, Sally Fry, and Laurie Ehlers, 3 women, and we were all in the same practice, all in the same building, but separate practices. So it was great for me because when I was new, I could go and ask each one a different question, and then none of the 3 ever knew how little I knew at the time. So I was blessed with these great female mentors who just really helped me get good quick at what I was doing. In 2012, I took and passed the exam to be a certified family relations specialist through the Ohio State Bar Association. At the time I did that, I think I was either the 14th or 15th attorney in Hamilton County to have achieved that designation. It's like taking a separate bar exam. And since we were talking before about internet trouble that you've been having, as we all have, because we rely on it more than anything. The day I went to take that, the internet went out. So we managed, though. I don't maintain that because that is for practicing attorneys. So in 2014, when Judge Oliver persuaded me to come up to Warren County and be one of his magistrates, I maintained it for about a year, but it's a designation for practicing attorneys. But I haven't forgotten everything I knew that I learned to pass that test. So.
Yeah. So for people watching, I want to remind them that Hamilton County is Cincinnati. It's right down in the southwestern part of the state, and Warren County is just one county above Cincinnati. So you can live in Hamilton County and serve as a magistrate in Warren County, but you've always been in Hamilton County, right?
Always, right, for the last 42 years. Yes, it's about a 35-minute commute. So it was worth it to be able to work for the judges and work with the people that I'm working with. And I really feel like as a magistrate, even though I loved my practice and I felt bad that when I had to send my clients off to other people so that I could go be a magistrate, I do feel like I have a much greater ability to help families through whatever crisis it is that's brought them to family court. From the bench, more so than I did as one at a time as a lawyer.
That's fantastic. Well, I have so enjoyed our conversation today. Is there anything special that you would want people to know about you, and how, if they're interested in your campaign, would they be able to get involved?
Thank you, Judge. What I would want people to know about me, as I said before, I want to serve the public of Hamilton County. We have not provided access to justice in our county to all of our residents. If you look at how the Court of Domestic Relations in Hamilton County responded to the pandemic, you'll see that there wasn't a focus on what's the most that we can do. Just for example, they stopped accepting e-filings for 3 weeks. They closed their doors to anything except domestic violence cases. They continued everything, including phone conferences. Whereas all the judges in the surrounding counties figured out how to continue to work to serve the public so that you didn't have a giant backlog at the end. And as you know, Judge, there was extremely specific guidance from the Ohio Supreme Court about how to do this. So that, to me, is an example of the things that I had been talking about back when there was a campaign trail, about how we need greater diversity in that court. We need a level of excellence and a level of competence. We need our citizens, our residents, to go in and know that the people in that court are there to help them solve their family problem, not punish them for having one. So this, is, again, is my lifelong career, is families of every kind. And my sole focus in being a lawyer has been domestic relations. My website is Flottman, F like Frank, L-O-T-T-M-A-N for judge.com. And I would welcome any questions. You can find me on Facebook at Flottman for Judge on Facebook, or at Anne for Judge. Either way, I'd welcome any questions that anybody might have about the process. So, and I cannot thank you enough, Judge Brunner, for this opportunity. And I wish you all the luck. I would love to see you on our Supreme Court. It would be fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much, Anne. And it's Anne with an E, right?
Yes.
Anne with the Anne for Judge, or Flottman for Judge.
Right.
I've so enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope we get the chance to work with each other in the future. Thank you so much for doing this. And this has been Achieving Justice with Judge Jennifer Brunner and Magistrate Anne Flottman. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.